that the first thing to know about the transatlantic slave trade was bodies were beaten, broken into flesh. I'm using the language of Hortense Spillers, beaten down into the ground and rendered instruments for the plantation, right? From our perspective, our vantage point as citizens of settlement, we look back upon that time and say they were dehumanized. And there's some truth to that. If we use dehumanization semantically as a way of signaling the maltreatment of bodies, the abuse of bodies, yes. But there's a very important sense in which they were humanized, in which they were dragged into a spectrum, into a politics, where they were rendered prosthetic bodies for the paradigm of mastery they were mounting, right? We know that black bodies were never fully accepted as human, right? They were imported into the project of the human. The idea of the human is a relatively new concept, tethered to the Enlightenment. So in order to build the human, we also needed to instrumentalize nature, right? So we thought of nature as just a resource bank, right? And minorities as prosthetics, discardable material, bare life. Giorgio Agamben, an Italian philosopher, would speak about bare life. So we just needed those bodies to, I say we, I'm speaking about modernity because I'm part of it. Modernity needed that in order to activate its notion of supremacy, right? To tell the story, the ruse, the illusion, and say, if you look like this, then you belong, then you matter, then you have superior brains and all of that. But if you look like those other ones, then they don't belong. You see, in order to create the paradigm of the citizen, the state needs the vagabond, right? In order to create the space of the good citizen, it needs the fugitive. So it was saying, come hither and let them stay there, right? So this was a humanization of some sort, where humanization is an appropriation of bodies from their own paradigms of care, their paradigms of well-being, their economic principles, their explorations and inquiry, which is not to be universalized as being human. They were practicing some other thing right there. They were dragged into the spectrum of the human and rendered less than, so that the politics that we name identity politics today is about trying to clamor or to climb up to the top where we can finally be seen as human and say, oh, please see us as human. We want to be represented at this table of humanity. We want to be given equal sitting. The plot twist is that that table is burning now.